Good morning, students. Good morning, students, each and everyone. In our college YouTube channel, name KENMS Arts, Commerce and Science College Chitana. I am from BB department. I myself, Pritishuk Sonone, and this lecture is delivered for first year BBA students. Subject is business communication. So before it, just recall our previous sessions. In a previous session, we have seen what is meant by a communication. So what is meant by a communication? Again, just remind it. Okay, so what is meant by communication? So communication, it's a process. Okay, so communication is a process by which people exchange informations, their ideas, okay, or express their thoughts and feelings. See this image. This image is also one of the picture of a communication. Okay. So now the today's session is about the types of a communication. So after understanding it, so today we are going to learn about the types of a communication. So what is meant by a types of a communication? So types of communication is divided into two types, that is a verbal and non-verbal. Okay. So verbal means a spoken rather than written, relating to words or using words relating to a verb. While we are talking about the verbal communication, so verbal communication is the words, okay, and sounds that can come out of our mouths when we are speaking, including tone of our voice also, okay, and things like sighs and groans. So now this image, so this is also verbal communication. So now we are talking about the non-verbal. So see this signs, symbolic signs, okay. So this is the body language and these all are the symbols. So this is also one of the non-verbal communication, okay. So what is meant by non-verbal communications? So while we are talking about the verbal communication, so it is using a speech or spoken words to exchange informations, emotions and thoughts, okay, it's clear. So conventionally the non-verbal communication is conveying and exchanging message without the use of spoken words, okay. So see these symbols, here we are not using any spoken language. So, though a silent, non-verbal cues can convey our feelings, attitudes, and actions to other people more effectively than speaking. For example, if I ask you a question in our class, okay, what is meant by communication, or any questions? If I ask you such type that you got it, you understood. At that time, you just nod your head. If you know the answer, you just raise your hands. This all the symbolic language. It's known as a non-verbal. So non-verbal, when we interact with other persons, we are constantly giving and receiving non-verbal cues. The kinds of a verbal and non-verbal signs we give or receive present themselves in many forms, such as the facial expressions, okay, the gestures, then our body language, okay, and etc. Paralinguistics, as well as the eye contact, okay. So these all are the types of non-verbal. So, what can affect of our non-verbal communication, such as stress and etc. These all things are distractions and etc. These all things are affected on the non-verbal communication. So now it's clear what is meant by verbal and non-verbal. So verbal communication is divided into two types. That is the oral, means a spoken, or a formal, informal. So oral means where you can interact with another, that is a face to face, okay. So interactions, gestures, facial expression, voice tones, fillers, pauses, laughter, sighs, repetition, etc. And written communications, in a verbal communications, another part, that is written. So written is again divided into two, that is the formal and informal. So formal means on the phone or letters, inform, etc, etc, okay. So for example, formal and informal. So verbal communications, so it's written. So written is again, I told you, that is a formal and informal. When we are talking about the formal letter, so it's a more complicated, more formal, require planning and structure. For example, if I told you write a letter to your principal, so you just thinking about a particular structure, particular salutations, for example, respected sir, etc, etc, okay. So this is the structured, more complicated, more formal, it requires a planning. You think about it now, what you want to write it. So this is the requires a planning. And second, that is the informal letter, which is write for your friends, your relatives, your parents, and etc. So this is a less complicated, okay, less formal, and etc. So that's why it's very easy comparing than the formal written communications. So communications and new technologies. Nowadays we use lots of technologies for communications. For example, see this image. The old person here, he used a telephone, mobile, okay, then uh, email, etc., conferencing, okay, lots of technologies now we are used for a communication, okay. So now the question session. So today's question is for a today's session, that is the response of a sender message is called what? Okay, you if you know the answer, just write in a comment box. Now the communication in different situations. So communication is totally depend upon the situations. As per the situation, senders and receivers communicate with each other. Now these all are the technologies nowadays we used it for communications. For example, satellites, telephone, fax, email, etc. Newspaper is also one of the type or one of the media for a communication. I hope you understood this very well. So homework or assignment for today's session, that is what are the types of a communication basic, okay. So next session is about a business communication. So to understand the next sessions very well, you have to read about various forms of business communications, as well as the skill required, which is skill important for excellent business communications, okay. So I hope you understood this, you got it these sessions. If you got it, if you like this, then just like this video, subscribe for our channel, okay. Thank you.